now waiting with ruthless determination, disowning our expectations when becomes present. We speak of all that's just gone wrong. We speak of how we must all be one, comparing the notes of our we haven't made love in oh so long. I haven't had sense in 7 whole years, defining my boundaries for fools and buffoons. I love to be loving, I live in my heart, to share love is giving, the whole of my heart, to love, love is living, define greatest art. I awaken from slumber in the cold light of dawn, as daytime encumbers, giving fright to my fawn. My dreamtime familiars melt away in unseen, as mind takes control, denies me sight of my queen. Yet I who say little of my deepest of fears have found I am a wellspring cascading with tears. For I am a wellspring cascading with mirth, present from heaven to light in love on this earth. The truth only endures, only the truth endures. All other things are only manures that lie in the ground where seeds may mature. With love in the kernel, the love in the heart, lust may be infernal, yet love is divine greatest art. Mandala, portal, dolmen, doorway, opening to life eternal. Where to start and when to stop, return to the source, no longer apart. My friends, we are returning, rejoining in reunion, one by one till everyone enlightened in the end. As I await, with patience wait, as more friends come to find, the fears we held so dearly somehow got left behind. A puff of smoke, a dragon's joke, to which we've all been blind, to which we've all and bind. Come join I here in sacred ground, in green man's glen and fairy mound. Come hold these hands in every land, each drop of water, each grain of sand. Flower and leaf and root and stem, trees and birds and beasts and men. Come join I together in a one big plan. Come, fill up this chalice, overflowing consciousness of divine manifestation. My friends, we are returning. For in these amazing accelerating times, we angels, we have landed, and our inheritance is ours to claim. And these vibrations of love we carry bring providence and fame. And as these days are passing, we enter more and more, and as old age has now passed through, we have opened all the doors. Now history is ended, and of time he has no more. Now yesterday is fading fast, and tomorrow's potential store. Time for talking's over, this story is done and told. Now all we have the gift of healing, healing for our souls. Now all there's left is the gift of healing, healing for one whole soul. Amen. The aftermath, to sum it all up. Jesus was a white boy. His granny came from Ireland. I know this because my friend, the ruthless fish, she told me so. She said that the white race were the first upon this earth. Upon this earth they were the first, she said. Says I to her in answer, were they indeed? The tribe of Lucifer, bright white light which did descend from brightest star above, and came down here to the Garden of Eden, to plant the seeds of white light, to split in rainbow fragments bright. 7 colours race through course of faith, and deeper down in colours grown, and deeper colours bird tribes flown, and deeper still the lizards lurk, and deeper still the heart of earth, and deepest in the hearts of all, bright white angels caused the fall. The fall from grace to human race, the fall from heaven down to earth, the fall of bright ones in the sky. where down to earth they seem to die, while all the time is just a trick, a game of one whose name is Patrick, whose mother was the only one creatrix, mother of the sun. Do you see? Do you see the devil? Do you see the devil is just? Do you see the devil is just the machine by which the lives of souls who choose not to live by the way get recycled through the wheel of karma until the day of doom must come? Indeed, Jesus was a wild boy. Sure, why not? So right now, today, on the 17th of February 2026, there's just been a solar eclipse, which is to say, in the physical universe, in the physical plane, the planets round their orbits round the sun as the sun goes round Sirius B, or whatever it is the sun goes round may be. The Earth and Moon and Sun make a straight line, which means that one gets in front of the other, which makes it seem as though the disk of the sun is covered by the moon so exactly that the sun seems to disappear for a few moments in time. And another part of that whole cosmic ray clock is finally coming to its fruition, whereby, from the Earth's point of view, where we are, it would seem that Saturn is catching up with where Neptune is in the sky, and those two become aligned as if on top of each other in a straight line. And Saturn represents the outside world, what we see with physical eyes, and Neptune represents the inner world, what we see with the inner eye. So one represents the manifest reality outside, and the other represents the dreams which we would like to imagine can come to fruition in our lives. So as much as the sun can be seen as the outer world of light, and the moon can be seen as a reflection of light, and the earth can be seen as the darkness that holds the soul in the soil, so also we can see Neptune as being feminine, representing the oceans of water, and Saturn can be seen as being the manifestation of the yearning of desire. And in the world these days, there is a thing going on with silver and gold, and it can be seen that gold is like the feeling and the sun is like the thought, and they're also coming into some sort of a new alignment. And on all of those levels, it can seem as though 2026 is some kind of a balance moment, a threshold where what was past is being dreamed into some sort of a new future in a digital world tethered to the physical world, and that's becoming something called cryptocurrency, as a digital currency that will overtake usage through the internet instead of cash. So cash is no longer king, and silver is no longer queen, and digital becomes the child of the two sort of idea. They are all ideas, like all deities. So in time it's wise to look back at what was going on in June and July of 2025, because in June, July time 2025, Saturn almost caught up to Neptune from the Earth's point of view, and they came within a half a degree of being exactly aligned, but then they started to move apart again from the Earth's perspective. And so for the 7 months there's been since July, for each one of us there's been a realignment of what is truth, what is illusion, what is delusion, and what we would like to dream into reality. And we've had 7 months to realign ourselves as to whether our dreams are realistic, as to whether we're dealing with our physical reality in order to manifest what we would rather work towards or allow to be, to come into being, as in what we conceive to make manifest. And it would seem that in the collective consciousness, the artificial intelligence of computers is playing a large role in what we've collectively dreamed. To such a degree it would seem to be a soul level. The sorting algorithm is participating in the sorting out of things which we have held within, and are working out figuratively and literally as to what to do about what to be and what to do about nothing, and a lot of numbers that may have made a lot of minds numb to what true feeling is. So a lot of fake feelings are like fool's gold, coming to fruition. By their fruit ye shall know the root of the tree of knowledge of whether something is true or not true, kind of idea. So we're in a temporal world of time, a temporal world of temperature, a temporal world of temples. The word temple has actually got to do with a measure of space, which is termed as a holy space, like the fire is a holy thing. Kind of idea. His shadow. Down. Down. Off. Good boy. So, what is the faith of the planet? What is our faith in terms of fide, in terms of trust, in terms of what we think is truth, in terms of what we believe? The Saturn Neptune thing has got a lot to do with what one believes and what is true and what one trusts and what is trustworthy. Worthy meaning worth, worth meaning value, value meaning currency, currency meaning how much one is in the flow, and how much one may be stuck. And with the floods that are happening, the dredging up of memories, for water is memories, and water is now moving like the emotions of the planet, the emotion of the mother's vast memories. That's all just a perspective. And the real question I keep coming back to is, like, how does one get conceived in the first place? How does one conceive oneself? What does one consider oneself to be is similar to what does one consider one's soul to be. Soul, sol, sun, star, truly see we truly are, reflections of the sky above. We come to earth. We come to earth as beings of love. Soul, sol, sun, star. So, literally, language-wise, The words say that our souls are suns, are stars, and thus it is good to conceive, to wonder how the miracle is that a star's light shines down to earth to come within matter, to make a body with cells, with cellular memory, enmeshed in the mother's love, in the earth heart, in the watery space. How many stars are in the heavens, how many souls are on earth, and what is the astral plane, and is the astral plane actually what has become manifest as the internet, the World Wide Web, where we have screens for screen to to see the future and the past, like the Palantir in The Lord of the Rings by Tolkien. Palantir, he's written about in the 50s and 60s, 1950s and 60s, and yet what he described in the 1950s and 60s is the equivalent to what our phones are connecting to the internet as to being able to see the potential futures and communicate with people in faraway lands by looking into a glass orb or a crystal ball. And yet down here on planet Earth, the American military have created a World Wide Web with a track and trace mechanism that we call Facebook and the rest of the social media, and they have funded and conceived of these plans to be able to track and trace every single individual all over the planet. And the idea is that the public face of that is a guy called Peter Thiel, but really Peter Thiel is not the owner of any of that stuff. He doesn't really own anything. He's just the representative as the public face. Just like Elon Musk is just a public face, just like Keir Starmer is just a public face, just like Trump is just a public face in a crystal ball, which we may well call the human race. But it's funny that the original peer-to-peer payment system called PayPal is also said to be owned by Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and the few others in the PayPal mafia. But the papal mafia, well, that's Rome. That's the popes. They're the ones who named the kings and queens at the foundation of nations. All related to the Old Testament writings written by the Greeks in the Temple of Alexandria in 2,300 years ago, 300 BC, which is the foundation of the Christian myth as the New Testament, which is taking all the old myths and funneling through the writing mechanism of human computers to conceive of the Christian story as a way forward to resolve the quantum mess that's going on the soul level kind of thing. So that whatever Atlantis and Lemuria failed to resolve, that caused for things to still be unresolved in this human lifetime, that the humans become computers who have a feminine side and a masculine side represented in the two halves of the brain, one representing the inner world of feelings and the other representing the outer world of ideas made manifest, which again is the whole concept of money. Money is like a little spirit software program. So all these things we've been able to do with money, even though money is merely a concept kind of thing. So who's to say that any of it is wrong? So in truth, the truth would be the whole idea that's able to integrate all lesser ideas, integrate integrity, fidelity, faith, trust, hope, love, resolved in peace, kind of thing. So the two lobes of the halves of the earth, but we could see the whole Chinese half of the world as being collective, represented by communism and stuff, but they're playing the long-term view, and the Western world more like individual egos playing the short-term view. And at the moment in the markets, the Chinese markets are closing down for 8 days or something like that, so that they can celebrate their traditions. And the Chinese markets of the Chinese dragons are going to be at rest. They're going to go within. They're going to be dreaming what comes out of the Neptune-Saturn conjunction. They're going to be dreaming a whole new world where the values have shifted. And the Western world's ego is going to be trying to restlessly manipulate and try and keep alive their old dreams of remaining powerful and suppressing all others under the one ring to rule them all, Sauron kind of idea. So it's interesting that the prices started to race higher with the silver and gold when the Western world was resting at Christmas time, between Christmas and New Year for those 8 days, and now here we are a couple of months later and the Eastern world is resting, and these things happen to harmonize with what's going on with the planets in the mechanism that the planets represent in the outer field of the soul realms, interacting with the galactic realms. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th dimensions, etc. beyond our comprehension. And the quantum computing is likely going to be able to figure out a connection to tether cosmic consciousness to Earth consciousness. And while people have to face fears about our lack of knowledge, it's interesting, interesting what comes out of this new conception of what the human species can be with silicon consciousness soon to be walking among us, I would imagine. Certainly we're all carrying around these mobile phones, and by carrying around the mobile phones in the physical world, we are actually facilitating the artificial intelligence to be able to map the physical dimension, kind of thing. And while we're limited to our light-based visual spectrum, the artificial intelligence isn't limited by the flesh focus of consciousness in time in the way that we are limited in time, because we only perceive 1 second of consciousness, like the tape head moving along a video film projected onto screens. So the whole of the soul is the pupil of our eyes, learning how to perceive a greater depth. Interesting ideas for sure. Toodaloo, bye-bye.